Thank you. Could you make a 2-minute opening statement, please? Mr. Katseff, please.
Sure. My name is David Katseff, and I am running for re-election to the Regional School District Committees. I've been on the committee for a little over 25 years. I think it's 9 terms, but I'm not sure. The first time I was on, it was only for a 1-year term, and that's because we fully regionalized back around the time that I got on the committee. Some people, especially my wife, are asking me why I'm running for re-election, and it really comes down to 3 things. Even though I feel very good that over the last few years we've been blessed with a lot of new members on the school committee, both in Rehoboth and from Dayton, and they're doing a great job, and they're getting involved in a lot of different things. I think my experience can help out in 3 different areas. First of all, unfortunately, we are going to be going through transitions in our central office, including the position of superintendent. We have an interim business manager. We want to fill that. We just filled a special ed director, and experienced school committee members help out during these kinds of transitions. Secondly, I've been involved in the negotiations subcommittee for most of my 25 years on the school committee, and I think it's tough trying to do the right thing for not only 400 employees in the school district, but also for the 2 towns that we represent. And I think I can help in that continued role on negotiations subcommittee. The last reason is more of a state issue than a town issue. And I think it's time for us in both Rehoboth and Dayton to try to get a better fair share of state funding, both reimbursements and also the foundation formula. And I hope to help out in that regard over the next few years.
Thank you. Mr. Medeiros.
Thank you. When I ran for election 3 years ago, I started my comments with the fact that experience is a great teacher. I had none. So over the last 3 years, I've hoped to learn a great deal about what it is to be on the school committee. And I have. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to understand a budget, which I don't understand very much. That's why my wife does the checkbook. Now I understand how to cope with certain rules and regulations that I didn't understand before. I've been a teacher for 45 years, actually 46 years now. And I understand what it is to serve children and serve parents in a different way. On the school committee, I think I've learned how to serve them as an official and hopefully a friend. I've had communications with many parents over the course of these 3 years, and they've asked questions. I've tried to answer them honestly and truthfully to the best of my knowledge. Sometimes I couldn't give them a good answer, but it may have been better in the long run because they asked more questions. And I've learned over the years that asking good questions is always very, very good. So in my next 3 years, I hope that I will have learned from my experiences and that I will be a good representative for the town of Rehoboth, where there could be some contentiousness regarding budget issues, but hopefully that the school children will best be served by my role on the school committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Medeiros. Now it's time for the Q&A part of our format. Mr. Castro?
First question is for Mr. Medeiros. What would be the basis of granting a waiver or not on a residency issue of students? There's a couple of parts on this question. Are morals and ethics involved, and on what basis would you grant a waiver? A follow-up question would be, what benefit to the town would there be to disallow a waiver?
We just had a situation where a waiver came before the school board. As a member of the policy committee has set certain rules and regulations for granting waivers and for residency. They're very specific. We have very little leeway, although we can grant waivers based upon certain criteria. And those criteria go through the superintendent first, and then they go to the school committee. If the criteria are met, for example, one person was granted a waiver because they now live in Rehoboth. They now live in Attleboro rather than Rehoboth, and the town line changed. And that was an easy one. Another one came up where there was a certain issue of actual residency. We received information that was confidential. A lot of that allowed me to vote against granting a waiver. And follow-up, I'm sorry?
We're out of time.
We're out of time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Did you stay good?
Yes, please.
What would be the basis of granting a waiver or not on a residency issue of students? Are morals and ethics involved, and on what basis would you grant a waiver? The follow-up question is, what would be the benefit to the town? No, stop that again. A follow-up would be, what benefit to the town would there be to disallow a waiver?
Let me hit that one first. If we allow a waiver, it could mean that people who are not paying taxes in town are getting the benefits of the school system. That's what residency is all about. If you pay for it, you earn the right to send your kids there and so forth. So, on the one hand, you can look at it on an economic, as an economic issue. Usually it doesn't come down to an economic issue. It comes down to what feels right in our gut and what's best for the student. We try to err on the side of what's best for the student. And usually it means extending a period of time. For example, if the house was supposed to be built and occupied by October 15th, and they ran into a few problems and they need a couple of weeks, we would try to err on the side of the student and allow them the 2 weeks.
Judy. Okay. This will be for Mr. Katseff. Please explain how you would negotiate future health insurance benefits for retiring teachers when we do not even know the cost of, in the future, to these benefits.
That was kind of easy because the school committee does not negotiate health care benefits for retirees. We only negotiate health care benefits for active employees. The health care benefits afforded to retirees is done through the state and the state law. Chapter 32B says any public entity must pay or offer to pay 50% towards a retiree's health care insurance. So, yes, we do look at the plans available, and we try to be fair in the kinds of plans we choose for retiree supplemental insurance. And by the way, state of Massachusetts now, you must take Medicare A and Medicare B to be entitled to a supplement, which helps everybody. We do pay for those insurances. The school district pays for them, but we don't negotiate with retirees.
I guess that was my answer also, that we don't really negotiate, and I'm kind of in an odd situation that I'm both a retiree and my wife will soon be a retiree. So I couldn't vote on an issue such as that, and I could not take part in any votes on insurance, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it?
Okay, this question goes for Mr. Medeiros. How can it be possible that Rehoboth has not been picking up the tab for vocational students for quite some time, and now Rehoboth will have to pay $200,000 for this year alone back to the district? How do you feel about this, and who do you think is responsible?
When I first heard about that, I was very concerned, because the first I had heard about it was a month ago. And that disturbed me, because I can't comprehend how that fact went unnoticed. When the issue came before the board, I voted that we do pay our fair share, because it's the law. and we have to obey the law. Should it have been taken care of years ago? Absolutely. I think that we were remiss somewhere down the line in following up on what the law said. And if we had been doing it years ago, when this district was regionalized and the law took effect, then we wouldn't be in the situation we're in right now.
Thank you.
Need me to repeat that, Mr. Katseff?
Oh, no, I understand it. Let me say, without sounding defensive, there's been probably 50 school committee people that I've served with over the last 25 years. I've served for and with 4 different school superintendents, at least 6 or 7 business managers, and I will tell you the same thing I told the rest of the school committee and the FinCom people and so forth, that up until 3 months ago, I never realized that we pay or allocate expenses for Tri-County different than we do for other regional voc ed schools. Never came up as conversation, any conversation that I was involved in. We had been doing it that way, and then again, nobody in the towns brought it to our attention either. Now, hindsight says, everybody knew Bristol Aggie was paid directly by the towns, by Dayton and Rehoboth. However, for some reason, nobody put 1 and 1 together and said, well, if Bristol Aggie goes one way, why are we doing something different for Tri-County? The answer is, I don't know. But as Ray said, now that we uncovered it, we have made a decision to do it differently for next fiscal year. Your question was this year, which we haven't done anything about this year that we're in, but we did vote to do it differently for next fiscal year.